Let us continue for the same model. Now we are supposed to go for the next collector. So let us check for the display of this particular model. Let us say D. Once we are checking for the display, now we can see we are having the remaining three collectors, second and third. So let us switch off the display for fourth and third, and let us switch on for the second. In the second collector, now we need to go for the again creation of hexa elements. So let us check it in a visual option 2. Now we are supposed to go for a dragging of these particular elements along this curved line, but it's not possible to go for a line drag because all the connecting lines for the base and end of this particular curve are having a different radii values. So let us start for the new command. With the help of 3D page, we are supposed to go for solid map. In the solid map, we are having a flexibility that we can give a source and target geometry with the help of our dragging lines and 2D elements. So first requirement is we need to drag 2D elements. So let us create a 2D element with the help of faces option. So let us enter on a tools page. On the tools page, we are having an option called as faces. So let us click on that one because we are not supposed to drag for 3D elements. So we need to extract for the faces from the 3D elements. So let us go for click over here. Let us say find the faces. Once we are clicking for the composition and we are finding the faces, let us say escape, and let us check for the display again by pressing a D button from your mouse. Let us say elemental page. On the elemental page, let us say switch off for these and keep on for the elemental display in second collector and a faces collector. So let us come out of this one and just say performance. Now we can see we are having a faces collector over here displayed in a red color. That means all the red color elements are nothing but the face of this particular geometry. So now we can go for 3D page, and on this particular page we are supposed to go for solid map. Once we are entering in a solid map, we can observe our color of a collector called edge faces. It's changed from red color to the blue. So now let us cross check for the source geometry. Source should be which is having a element. So we are having this particular thing over here, we are having the element. So let us select for your source. Let us weave in a standard to get selected for the elements. So let us switch on. Let us say source as a lines. So let us click and just say lines. Now we need to select for all the lines on this particular as a source. So we are going to select all these lines over here. Second, third lining, fourth of this particular base of L bracket, fifth, and last one here. So while selecting, we should be very cautious about selection order. Once it is selected, now let us highlight for the destination. In the destination, we are having again the lines, so we are supposed to turn it on a lines from here to here. So let us select all the lines for destination. Once it is selected for the destination geometry, let us go for along which we need to drag for these 2D elements. So we are supposed to drag it along the lines. So let us keep on lines, and we are supposed to select for all these linings. Once we are selecting for all the linings, let us go for elements. In the elements, we are supposed to drag for only these many elements over here. So we are going to select only one from that one, and let us click on your elements and let us say faces. Once we are saying faces, we can see all the elements are selected. So let us say reset and just select it by manually. So let us go for masking of these things. By face, once we are saying by face, we are having a whole top face selected, so we are not needing it. So unselect rest of the things over here by shift and mouse use. So let us unselect. Let us unselect for this particular zone itself. Then remaining is attached to this particular boundary. Let us say shift and mouse. Let us unselect for these things. Whatever we are not needing over here. Let us unselect for over here. We are needing only inside the geometry. So this will be the trouble if we are having the equivalence with respect to the element. So to avoid this, we can avoid the equivalence over here. But if we are not giving the equivalence along the geometry, so it will create a trouble for the node-to-node connectivities over here. So better we need to select for all and then go for the unselection of remaining zone which is outside your border. So let us unselect for these things. Select for this one and again let us select it. So now we can see we are having a L-shape elements which are selected over here. Now next thing we need to enter for our element size. So we are having our element size as a 5. We are not going to create any kind of a bias intensity. So let us say directly mesh. Once we are saying mesh, system will start for the dragging of these elements along the geometry with the help of our given input by calculating element size of a 5 without maintaining any kind of a failure. So let us go for, and now we are having a one yellow color display over here. So let us say escape and just check it in a performance. Once we are seeing it in a performance, now we can see we are having the elements which are in a yellow color. Let us check for the display. We are having one collector known as solid map, and this particular collector will be having all these 3D hexa elements. Our work of extraction of these 2D faces are over. So let us go for tools page. On the tools page, let us say faces again and let us say delete our faces. We are not needing the faces as usual. So now we can see we are dragging for the 3D elements over here without any kind of a failure along the geometry. So let us check for display, say all, and let us check for the display of a geometry, saying it all. So once we are checking it, let us check it in a visual option 3. And now we can see we are having elements which are displayed in a yellow color which are belonging to the collector solid map which is by default created. Now remaining work is with respect to your next portion, and after that last collector. So we should check it over here. Let us say switch off and switch off. Now we can see we need to go for the next connector meshing over here. So for this particularly we need to go for extraction of a faces, and again the command will be same to go for solid map. So for going for the solid map, again we need to go for extraction of faces. And how to continue for this particularly we are going to see it in our next file.